Before listening to this episode about Platoon, please consider that the movie we discussed today contains themes of racism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, sexual violence, killing of civilians, and general war crimes. If you need to skip this episode for your own safety, we totally understand and hope you can come back next week.
Be safe with your feelings. Take care of yourself first.
For a few seconds, this place was Armageddon. There was a firefight!
Fuck you think you're doing?
You were asked a direct question, do you use cocaine?
Am I a bad person?
You never killed a baby!
You want to know who my god is?
Some huge friggin' guy.
She somehow fornicated.
Buddhism.
Put your mouth on this.
Fish aren't meant to be in a box, kid.
Can't you see what's inside of me?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Willem da Filmography. I am your other host, Jeff Whaley.
And I'm your second host, Jude.
Our first host, Cy, is on assignment. They are looking for the last rumored known location of where Willem Dafoe's cocoon lies to try and find actual evidence there. Last we talked to them, they mentioned something about Alaska, I believe, but
could have been Argentina. I don't know. I don't listen.
Exactly. I heard an A at the beginning and an A at the end. Australia? Who knows?
So yeah, we're doing the podcast alone this week, and I'm here to say that the energy is fine.
Yeah. We didn't just watch a horribly depressing war movie about Vietnam at all. But anyway, how are you doing before we get to that?
I'm doing all right, all things considered. And I don't even mean that in like a outwardly like sort of way. I mean that in this movie hit hard kind of way.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I watched it a few days ago and had some time to decompress.
Right? Absolutely. I watched this like a week ago and then had to skim through it today before recording for the summary, which a little behind the scenes for everybody there is how I usually watch the movies twice.
Jeff is really putting in the most work into this podcast. Editing and doing our summaries, our summary boy.
Yeah, summary edit boy.
I'll be here for a few different summaries, but not this one. I'm going to do Boondock Saints and Antichrist for sure.
I'm definitely, we won't get into what I'm planning on doing for Boondock Saints.
No spoilers.
Yeah, because I was also a gigantic fan of that movie, and we'll get to that in a few years, probably. Yeah, let's get into it and start off with our Willem Dafoe for today.
What? That's what I mean!
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'll take this one.
Go for it.
I can remember it pretty easily. Our Willem Dafoe, our precious boy today, plays a weathered war veteran, but specifically for the Vietnam War, which means he's spent 3 years by the time this movie has started as a lieutenant, right? Lieutenant Elias.
No, sergeant.
No, sergeant. That's right.
NCOs.
Sergeant Elias.
Yep. No. Yeah.
He is a sergeant for I believe, the 25th Infantry of
the Army.
Of the U.S. military.
Army specifically. Well, yeah. I mean, do we want to summarize the Vietnam War before or after the movie summary? Let me quickly do my kind of concurrent Willem Dafoe with that.
Okay.
In this movie, Willem Dafoe is the platonic ideal of what a soldier should be, and still allows war crimes to happen because war is bad.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I have many opinions on this. Our Willem DeFriend or Willem Dafoe is going to be a tricky one today, folks. Moving on.
If you want to give us a little bit, before we get into the summary of the movie, if you want to give us a little setup of the Vietnam War, since this is going to be a very heavy episode.
Yeah, and it's always good to have context for things like this. At least a little bit. I just have a super quick rundown of the Vietnam War, and a quick disclaimer is to keep in mind that this by no means covers the vast amount of history and nuance and multiple sides that went into before, during, and after this war. We are just keeping it brief for time.
I need a 35-page dissertation, and I need it now in 5 minutes.
So back when Vietnam was made, no, I'm. The Vietnam War started after a split between South Vietnam and the communist North Vietnam. Yeah. The U.S.'s main involvement was kickstarted in 1961 when then-President John F. Kennedy expanded the military aid program, extending help to the South Vietnamese army in an attempt to thwart communism before it could apparently spread across to Asia, citing the domino theory. And this obviously led to a lot of war, and it was war. We will get into it. You guys heard the triggers at the beginning of this episode. We will get into it. But before we get into the specific movie, I want to highlight the fact that though the official numbers are difficult to come by online and are said to be even underestimated, anywhere between 2 and 3 million people died, with upwards of 1.1 million North Vietnamese and 500,000 South Vietnamese people dying during this war. So this is no small event, and we want to respect it as much as we can. And that being said, this movie, before we get into it, this movie is a very gritty portrayal, and a very present to the time, because it only came out about a decade after the Vietnam War was over. Not even a decade, I think.
A little more. I think closer to 15 years, but I think it was early 70s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're right. But anyways, it comes out, roughly 15 years after the Vietnam War, so it's a little while afterwards, but still in that time where America had some weird views on everything that had happened. Some weird back and forth views.
And, I mean, if we want to kind of get into, we could do this a little bit later, but Oliver Stone was specifically working through stuff with this movie.
Yeah. Oliver Stone has the director and writer, I believe. Mm-hmm. Was he just the writer?
No, he was both.
Both, okay. He based this movie, specifically the main character, off of himself, and his parents. So a lot of what we will be talking about is apparently stuff that he himself experienced. Loosely
semi-autobiographical. So details might not be exact, but yeah. Overall.
So it's always good to go into the movie with that sort of worldview, of his worldview in mind. I don't want to necessarily, it is a bias, but I didn't, that sounds like harsh wording here.
Also, this movie was not approved by the U.S. military, and so they didn't your script has to be approved by the military in order for you to use actual military standard stuff, so they just had to borrow a lot of stuff from the Philippines. So the government did not like the portrayal of their soldiers in this movie for some reason.
I wonder why.
Which makes this a better war movie than any war movie that is approved by the U.S. government, because it's going to be less biased.
Yep. So with all that in mind, let's slither right on into the summary.
Let's just have a joyous time. 1986's Platoon, Academy Award winning for both movie, picture of the year, and director. In September 1967, newly arrived infantry private Chris Taylor, Charlie Sheen, and other troops show up in Vietnam to the sight of body bags, taking their place on the flight home. Not ominous at all. Taylor joins his platoon near the Cambodian border, and the platoon is led by the incompetent Lieutenant Wolf, played by Mark Moses, and his squad leaders, Staff Sergeant Barnes, played by Tom Berenger, Sergeant Elias, played by our boy, Willem Dafoe, Sergeant O'Neill, played expertly by John C. McGinley, and Sergeant Warren, planned for Tony Todd. And all of them plan for a nighttime ambush.
I just want to say,
yeah,
maybe I just missed Willem Dafoe before this particular scene. But I remember there's this, one of the first shots we get of Willem in this movie is him walking, like the camera following him, and as a back shot, and he has his gun resting over his shoulders with his, hands resting over the gun. And I remember looking at that back silhouette, and I wrote, Willem Dafoe's silhouette is so iconic that I noticed him immediately just from the back of his head.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I did not see him in the movie before that, so I just that's Willem Dafoe, because he just has such a iconic shape to him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I did. There was some scenes of like them just kind of walking through the jungle to kind of get familiar with everything before.
There was a lot of that in the Vietnam War.
Yes, yeah, and a lot of this movie has just regularly uses all of the nicknames and slurs for Vietnamese people that were used during the war.
Yeah, if you can imagine it, they probably said it in this movie.
Yeah, no, listen, it's realistic, so that's probably how it was, but it's still harsh to hear. A
lot of this movie is, God, I know that happened, but damn.
Yeah. This movie is somehow both extremely on the nose, but like they pull back just enough so that it doesn't feel exploitive while still being just as harsh as if it was exploitive,
Mm-hmm. It's gritty, but not gratuitous.
Yes, yeah, it rides that fine line. And I do like during the scene when they're planning the ambush, John C. McGinley plays O'Neill, and if you don't know who that character name is or that is, he plays Dr. Cox in Scrubs, and he is just the weaseliest, most suck-up prick sucking up to Tom Berenger's Sergeant Barnes. When he's first introduced, Barnes just has like a cigarette in his mouth, and O'Neill just pulls out a lighter, tries to light it, but it's not going the first time, and he has to redo it, and Barnes just like looks at him like, what the fuck? I hope to God that was just a mistake that they left in the movie. That they were both so in character that it was a mistake that works perfectly for the characters.
He gives the same energy as like a bully's lackey in a kid's movie.
Oh yeah, he's so weaselly and like over the top, but in a way where we've all known that person. Like, yeah, there are definitely some over the top.
He's a follower.
Yeah, there are definitely some over the top performances, but they all feel real, which is a sign of a good actor and good movie.
Speaking of actors,
yes,
I'm gonna get this out of the way now. Mm-hmm. I don't like Charlie Sheen, and he is in this movie a lot. He's
the star.
And I'm going to try to keep it as unbiased as possible, but man,
his performance was very good. And
it was. I can objectively admit that his performance was very good.
And this character is not supposed to be completely likable. So it kind of goes in its favor if you don't fully like him.
The only time I found myself kind of sympathetic towards him was towards the end, which we will get into.
Mm-hmm. So the rest of the platoon consists of, and I think I got every important name here, but consists of King, played by Keith David, Big Harold, played by Forrest Whitaker, Raw,
love him,
Raw, played by Francesco Quinn, Bunny, played by Kevin Dillon, that's the absolute fucking psycho, Junior, played by Reggie Johnson, Francis, played by Corey Glover, Lerner, played by Johnny Depp, Crawford, the Southern surfer dude, played by Chris Peterson, Manny, played by Corky Ford, Tex, played by David Niedorf, and fellow newbie Gardner, played by Bob Orwig. Gardner also just got off the plane with Taylor.
Very nice.
We'll see how many of those names I use throughout the thing, but yeah, it's just a stacked cast. I know a bunch of the people on the cast basically went through a boot camp training.
You could almost call it a platoon.
Yes. So, as they're doing the nighttime ambush, Taylor does his shift on watch and then passes it off to Junior before catching some sleep. But Junior falls asleep and allows the enemy soldiers to sneak up on them, causing a firefight. During the fight, Tex and Taylor are hit while Gardner dies from his wounds, and Junior blames Taylor for falling asleep.
I did want to point out that I think the moment in this movie that really started to grip me was when Taylor was during the scene in the middle of the night when Taylor was just staring at the silhouettes approaching,
getting closer
in the middle of the trees, and he just had like this obvious freeze response.
Because
I don't know, it's
get their attention, but also like, fuck, what do I do? Like, it's
right. He had just like, he had no idea what to do, and it was very real and visceral and kind of like, I think, I read somewhere the 25th Infantry, which is an infantry located in Hawaii and where this platoon is apparently from, only had, I think it said 3 weeks of training.
Fun.
Before being shipped out for 7 weeks. So just imagine.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, this would have been in 67, so they would have been there for a long time. But yeah, that being true when they first went out is insane.
Yeah. I could be misreading that, but that's what I read. And was this around the time when he said, I regret volunteering?
Yes.
Because he's, the gimmick is that he's writing to his parents. Taylor is writing to his parents,
his grandma.
Right? Or his grandmother. Yeah, his grandmother.
He specifically doesn't want to write to his parents because his parents didn't like that he signed up for Vietnam.
Yeah. And people obviously make fun of him for being a volunteer instead of a draft.
Well, not even quite that. They will later, but right now they're just making fun of him for being new. Because
that too.
It's very much, the newbies get all the shit things because if they die, no one's gonna. Don't get to know them too soon because if they die, then it won't be as difficult. Which
it's the don't name it. You'll get too close to it.
Yep. Dealing with human beings. War is great, y'all. Yeah. So and then the ambush happens. Junior is just a real piece of shit this whole movie. Yeah, sometime later, Taylor returns to the base camp and gets put on latrine duty with Crawford and King. They talk about how long they have left, and Taylor tells them that he dropped out of college and volunteered. And there's a lot of really good lines here where he was just like, I figured, why should only the poor people get sent while the rich people don't have to do anything? And King responds with, man, rich people have been fucking over poor people for a long time. Always have, always will. Fucking tell it, Keith David. Like, go off, King. But also, god damn it.
Laughing through the pain.
Yep. But it is a good line, and like
it is, yeah.
It's good to know that, and Taylor mentioned that the people here were like the dredges of like he volunteered, but all these people were like the dredges of society and just like basically had really nothing else to do, so they went here instead, and they kind of know it, and it's a real, I don't know, like I always love it when people look at what some people would view as like lower uneducated people and like view as like, no, they know shit. Like they know shit because they are forced to experience and don't like count them out.
There is this air of recklessness with their lives amongst a lot of these men, especially the more evil ones. Yeah. The ones who don't really care. Like a lot of them, like a core theme in this movie is a lot of these boys don't think that they're going to make it home, so they just do whatever they want. Which really fucking sucks.
Yeah, yep.
Because you want to feel sad for them, but then you see what they do, and you don't.
Yeah. Like it's such a. Again, this does do a good thing of war is fucking hell, and this really shows you all of the emotions you go through when put in these completely unforgivable, unwinnable situations for literally no reason in this case. And in most cases.
Yep.
World War II is like the most justifiable war of the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so later, King takes Taylor to the Heads hangout, where half the platoon gets high, And while the other half...
And the best scene in the movie happens.
Yeah. And they're hanging out, and then the other half just gets drunk in the barracks, and that's where all the dicks are, and all the cool people smoke weed, which is true to real life.
This is where the movie gets homoerotic.
Yes, yeah. This scene when they walk in is... I'll let you take it if you want, Jude.
Just a second.
I'll lead you in by saying... and this movie is the first movie that has 2 lines from the movie in our intro theme, and one of the heads that we drew for the for our artwork.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, he walks in, and I don't remember all of the details, but it essentially is just like, oh, so are you a rich dude? You're a rich kid. Are you a pussy? Smoke some weed. You know, like that's peer pressure. Don't be a pussy. Smoke some weed. And they kind of have this air of like, you know, there's not a lot of anything else to do, and it is a very fun scene, especially if anyone here has ever gotten high for the first time.
Yep.
But the scene that we got for the cover is Willem Dafoe walking up after Taylor starts to feel the effects of weed. Mm-hmm. And Willem Dafoe looks so hot as he just walks up. He's kind of sweaty. But he's like, his lips are all loose. His eyes are like bloodshot because he's stoned as hell. And he has like this slight smirk on his face. And I can't remember exactly what he says, but at some point he offers Taylor what looks to be a shotgun. And he says, "Put your mouth on this."
It's his rifle, and he like cocks it, and it's in the intro thing. Put your mouth on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Charlie Sheen.
He does. Yeah, and he smokes weed from it.
He literally shotguns weed into Charlie Sheen's mouth using the rifle, and that is one of the coolest things I've seen to this day.
Yeah, and we were kind of chatting about this last night over D&D, and we discovered that the term shotgunning weed, aka blowing smoke from your mouth into somebody else's mouth, came from the Vietnam War.
Apparently. There's no hard evidence of it, but there's enough pop culture things and people claiming it happens that it might as well have been where
that seems to be at the very least the popularization of the term shotgunning weed.
Yep.
Anyways, Willem Dafoe looks really hot in this scene. At least day one Cocoon.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and he as the that's from the gay perspective. From the bi perspective, yeah, he's very fucking hot. This is the confidence to him is like, oh, okay. And we cut between this.
If he asked me to put my mouth on something, I'd be like, all right.
I mean, honestly,
anything you say.
Honestly, say
Elias.
Probably about as big as a rifle, anyway. So,
oh my god,
we'll get into the details later. After that happens, you cut back to like the barracks where the other platoon is, and we just get psychopaths drinking beer and talking shit, and the lieutenant comes in, and I like this scene too because he goes up to the crew playing like poker. And they like ask him if he's gonna get in there, and he says like, "No, I'll probably be raped by you guys," because he's clearly trying to joke with them at their level, but he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
If you've ever been someone or been at someone who's like trying to like, oh, they're I'll make a rough joke because everyone else are making rough jokes, and it just doesn't land because it clearly doesn't. It's not your thing, and you're trying way too hard. And this movie very much leads into the common trope of NCO and like non-commissioned officers know what the fuck they're doing, and commissioned officers, especially young lieutenants, are just like out of their depths rich kid who got the money to go to college and become an officer and don't actually know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate the amount of I don't want to say incompetency, but almost like ignorance that like permeates this platoon.
Yeah. Specifically,
and other than
lieutenant.
Yeah, and then when it comes to Sergeant Elias, who supposedly has been there the longest, I believe, right?
I maybe not the longest, but he's been there for like 3 years, and he is
Yeah, they say at some point they're like, oh, he's been here a while, so he thinks he knows fucking everything, and then I mean, throughout the movie, you kind of realize that Sergeant Elias
he does
kind of knows everything. Yeah.
The other sergeants are making fun of him for that because they feel inadequate because.
Yeah.
Again, the platonic...
There's a reason he survived for 3 years.
Yeah, the platonic ideal of what a good soldier should be.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Listen, yes, and there's problems with that.
Yeah.
Because even the platonic ideal still lets shit slide that they shouldn't, because that's how the hierarchy of the military is set up, in order for you to be broken down to just trust the hierarchy to the detriment of humanity.
Yeah. There's nothing good coming of people killing people.
No, never. And after this scene, also, I said this earlier. I'll say this here. There's a scene where John C. McGinley's character O'Neill just makes an anti-Semitic joke, and there's the punchline is
unnecessary.
Just the word Jewish, and it's so like. Comedy is so much easier if you're just a racist that doesn't understand humor. Like...
Yeah, it made no sense.
No, it didn't make sense at all, and he laughed at it like it was the funniest thing in the world, and it made me laugh just because of the commitment to the bit, but boy howdy was it not
don't
good.
Say that.
The irony of me, I watched things with the meta, and the meta of it made me laugh, even though I'm like, this is horrible. I would not laugh in the real world if that happened, but like watching a movie, enough things removed that I can see what is happening.
Right.
That's why I'm insufferable to watch movies with sometime, because I can't not do that. Continue.
This is a weird tangent, but this feels like the
Why are you so special? It's a tangent.
I like the word tangent.
I do. It's just the way you said it was just so cutesy. Continue.
Oh. As I was watching this, it felt like I know it came out beforehand, but it felt like the spiritual successor to like Full Metal Jacket. Like one day when I watched these back to back.
Full Metal Jacket did come out first, yeah.
No.
Or did it come out? When did Full Metal Jacket come out?
1987.
Oh, this was before. Okay, I always assumed it was they came out the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
They do go well together.
That's why I said it's like spiritual successor. Yeah, release date July 10th, 87.
And this was November 86, I believe, so there was something in the zeitgeist.
Yeah. I do believe Kubrick probably had a little less emotional attachment to the story than Oliver Stone. Mm-hmm. But that being said, they both kind of have that same level of showing how unnecessary and gratuitous the Vietnam War was.
Mm-hmm. I think more douche bros misunderstand Full Metal Jacket than Platoon, although I'm sure there's a good amount of that for both.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's has to do with where Full Metal Jacket sort of Kubrickifies everything, which is, it makes for good cinema. Platoon is more, like we keep saying, grounded in realism and, a little less stylized on purpose. And, like, from an outsider's perspective, being in my late 20s and obviously never having any experience of what the Vietnam War was like in the moment, even as just a civilian in the U.S. watching from an outside perspective, I don't know, Full Metal Jacket just feels like what America wants to think of the Vietnam War, as bad as it is. That's the best America can make of it, while Platoon is a step closer to reality, and I don't even think it's as close to reality as I would want it. I
think it's closer than you would want it, in my opinion.
Well, yes. when I say that, I just mean I really want to see the other side more.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
absolutely.
very biased to the American side is all I mean.
We don't get a lot of Vietnam movies from the perspective of the Vietnamese. That is true.
Yeah.
That should be a thing, 100%.
It's like, we're feeling bad for these American soldiers, rightfully so, because they went through a lot of trauma and not a lot of them chose to be there. Looking at you, Taylor. And but like the Vietnamese didn't ask to be.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely.
My war crimed.
My dad did try to sign up to go to Vietnam. He was rejected due to physical stuff, but he did try to go because my grandpa was in World War II, and there were a lot of people who's had parents or family members in World War II that initially signed up to Vietnam in the 60s to try and because they viewed that as being honorable, and so they wanted to do the same thing without realizing the context of the war they were fighting.
Yeah, for sure.
Doesn't excuse it.
We were no. I mean, yeah, it's just a very complicated situation because there was just a lot of propaganda going around about how great America was, and how good we did during specifically World War II, but also the Korean War. From my understanding,
you could argue we probably didn't need to be in either. But...
Nope. Yep. I don't think so. My grandpa was in the Korean War towards the end of it, and it just doesn't feel very necessary. I mean, no war feels necessary, but
Again, World War II is the one, and that had to get very, very bad for it to get
there.
there.
Yeah, even then, it was just kind of like if World War I hadn't happened, and if things before World War I hadn't happened, then
so
butterfly effect that led up to World War II is still stupid.
Yes. It was the release of something that had happened for a long time.
Yeah,
and so almost every step before it was completely unnecessary. But
we're getting off track.
I think this is
also very on track for a discussion about this movie. This is the context that we're missing from the history introduction that I made,
and
at least the American context,
right. And while you didn't don't know what it was like to live through an unnecessary war in Vietnam, you do know what it's like to live through multiple unnecessary wars in the Middle East.
Yeah, definitely. And I was thinking earlier you were talking about something to do with the Vietnam War and like the carelessness that American people had towards the Vietnamese victims. Oh yeah, it was about how like they were honoring American soldiers but not the people that they killed. And there was people who were specifically trying to honor the Vietnamese that were killed. But it also just, it reminded me of Palestine and just how like we see any sort of like activism for Palestine happening in like courtrooms or hearings and shit, and they just getting kicked out during the
DNC last year. When activists were yelling out names of Palestinians that were killed, people entering the DNC would cover their ears so they wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, actually, I think we should keep this in.
Okay, yeah.
That is not something that I think is very...
That is a very important thing to know of that is happening in the vague time frame of when we're recording this.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not so anti-political podcast to say that I don't support Palestine. I support Palestine. Anyways, it just it reminded me a little bit of like when I grew up learning about the Vietnam War and specifically the on the ground American reaction to the war, and stuff like that, like learning about Kent State. It was always kind of like, whoa, that's crazy that the government would do that, and that people would think that way, that war is so necessary that we had to kill people going against it. But here we are.
Yep.
it just feels like watching this movie feels very how a lot has changed, has it, guys? We got cell phones now.
Yeah, right. Nothing changes; it just gets a little bit worse, while seeming like it's a little bit better.
But now we have the context of watching Platoon.
Yep.
And being like, great.
To go back, the thing I was talking about earlier involved the trial of the Chicago 7, and I would say look up the actual history of that or listen to the Dollop podcast on that. Don't watch the movie. The movie is whitewashed in a horrible way.
Bad.
Yep. Fuck. Anyway, that one I'll bleep. I'll leave everything else, but I'll bleep that in.
It makes sense that Platoon would be our first real deep dive into politics on this podcast.
We've gone in and out on it. Like, you could argue "Our to Live and Die in L.A." was very anti-cop, and that's political to some people. So,
yeah, it is. It's technically political.
Yeah. So this is more, but this is more. We're going deep into it with war because
it's hard not to.
And so back to the last happy thing that's happening in this movie. You do end with the guys getting high, dancing to like a song together, and just having a fun thing.
A good time.
And this is a really good scene because it's good to know that you get a bunch of like young dudes together and they're gonna find the happiness and the good things to do even in horrible scenarios.
Yeah, people in general. I mean, people are going to find the good in things. Mm-hmm. People yearn for community and
camaraderie. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did, I know earlier I alluded to a lot of homoeroticism in this, high tense scene. But, on a very real note, on a non-homoerotic note, mm-hmm. I do really like the it's toxic. It's toxic because it's the 80s and it's the Vietnam War. But there is, underneath all of that toxic masculine energy, there's always been that very, what you were just alluding to, very fun and easygoing.
They were all very close and dancing to each other and not afraid of male physical contact, which is not a thing.
Yeah, because there were no girls around to impress, so they're just being themselves, and a lot of them, like we were saying earlier, think that they're going to die anyways. So
they're just living their life,
And it's a very, just like the rest of this movie, it's grounding.
Yeah. And it's the last fun we're ever going to have.
Yeah. And I think at some point in this movie, they say, they allude to the, just as where father, son, what have you, brother, so are the people that we're killing. Mm-hmm. So, yay.
Yep.
Yay!
Yeah, yay! I said yay, damn it. So,
tears streaming down my face. Yay!
Days later, on patrol, they find some freshly emptied bunkers that are booby-trapped. 2 of the members die in an explosion, looking at, maps and information. They also find a lost member of their platoon killed and his body staged down the river. The platoon head into a village nearby and completely terrorizes the people in it and commit war crimes.
By far one of the hardest scenes to watch in the entire movie.
Easily.
Or sequence of scenes, I should say.
Easily inspired by the My Lai massacre, and I'm not going to go super into it now, but look it up. It's horrible, if you can. Yeah,
they do.
We'll
it's
start
all
there.
Awful. They kill livestock.
Yep.
They torture people for information. They end up killing people.
They do find a cache of weapons from the NVA, and they kind of use that as their excuse to do that.
Search the whole place, and then they start roughly interrogating people. I believe there's supposed to be somebody who's
the leader,
clearly
the
development.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The developmentally disabled kid, right?
Who only had one leg. Yeah. A frustrated tailor finds people hiding in the house, including a seemingly developmentally disabled person, and forces the one-legged man to dance by shooting bullets at his foot.
Yeah, and there's I don't know. I don't want to get too into detail, but like they get really mad at these people for hiding. Mm-hmm. While also terrorizing the entire town.
Yeah.
I would hide too. Like
they literally say the NVA came and terrorized them months ago. So they're hiding because every time they interact with military people, it goes badly. So
yeah.
No matter the side. So you can't really blame them, but because they had a couple of their guys killed and staged their frustrated and taking their anger out completely unjustifiably on the civilians. It'd be unjustifiable if they were guilty or not, but still, there's not even has completely left anyone here.
Yeah, there's not even any like cognitive dissonance going on with some of them. It's literally just hatred and pent up aggression, and some of them, I believe, even say that it's like, oh, it doesn't matter or anything, you know.
Specifically, Buddy, played by Kevin Dillon, who plays this character expertly. Apparently, the big ones, the big assholes in this movie that I remember. I'm not good with names. Obviously, Sergeant Barnes. Mm-hmm. He is like the leader of the assholes, and then Bunny, because he has a tattoo of Bugs Bunny on his arm, and that's a disgrace to anyone who likes Bugs Bunny. I do not associate with him as a Bugs Bunny fan. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, no, even I think Bugs Bunny deserves better.
Yeah.
And no, that's actually the only two that I really remember, but there are definitely more.
O'Neill is the Weasley one. He's not outwardly...
Yeah.
Like, Junior also sucks.
Yeah.
A lot of them are just... They're not outwardly doing the things, but they're totally okay with allowing the two main assholes to do it.
Yeah, they end up killing one of a mother who says, who stands up to them and says, why are you killing our livestock? We're farmers. This is literally all we have.
The wife of the village leader, Barn kills the leader's wife in front of everybody and almost kills his daughter to try and get information out of him. Information that he does not have.
Yeah. The leader keeps saying, I don't have anything.
But they just blame him because something happened nearby, and they're paranoid, they're
sleep deprived,
they're frustrated, like there's so many, just
again, none of this is an excuse.
The perfect stew of just fucked up mental states in order to build and they've all been trained in the military that it's supposed to desensitize you to killing people and empathy and stuff like that, so this is why militaries are bad, because this is what can happen.
Yeah, I do think personally, if we start, I don't want to get too deep into nature versus nurture, but even this movie shows that there is a dichotomy between a certain type of person in this war and another type of person who is just trying to actually get by.
Yeah.
And it's it takes a certain kind of person to break and do that, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
and I don't want to I don't want to discount the amount of trauma and desensitization that takes to bring a lot of people there. But at the same time, I'm not going to give a lot of empathy to these characters who are killing, assaulting, burning down villages, and raping women, children as well.
They were implied to be very young.
Yeah, and after there's a lot of tension building in the scene as Barnes is threatening this child who's just crying over her mother. Yeah, go on.
Yes, a real good thing about this scene is they cut to a lot of faces, and Charlie Sheen does some amazing acting here, where he's clearly trying to say something, but he just can't bring himself to it because of the conditioning of his training and everything, and it's just...
Another freeze response.
Yeah, it's clear he knows this is wrong, but nothing in him is allowing himself to do anything about it. And
yeah, especially because earlier in the movie, Barnes made it clear that I don't think he really liked Taylor.
Yeah. Barnes doesn't like anybody.
Yeah. Barnes doesn't like anybody who doesn't kiss his ass.
He doesn't even like him.
Yeah. But at one point, finally, Elias, our boy Willem Dafoe, runs in and just screams at Barnes and says, "How fucking dare you?
What the fuck do you think you're doing?" Which is the very first intro to our the thing after the Boondock Saints quote in our intro music.
Yeah, I know. I specifically wrote down, "You ain't a firing squad, you piece of shit," which is what he says. And I wrote down in my notes immediately, Willem Defriend.
Yup. And yeah, he hits him with his rifle, and then they just start like fighting each other. And when they're getting pulled apart, Barnes says he'll kill Elias, and Elias says, "You're gonna burn for this. You're gonna go to trial for this." It's basically, again, complete dichotomy between the two sides, where one sergeant wants to kill the other, the other's like, "You're gonna go through the proper through the proper channels of the legal system, buddy."
Yeah, and it's almost like when Barnes says that, you just want him to just shove his rifle. Or sorry, no. When Elias says that, you just want him to shove his rifle in Barnes' mouth and fire the gun. Like you just want him. And I did write at some point. I said maybe I missed the moral of the story, if there is one. But killing Barnes is all I wanted in this movie. Even though I don't believe in capital punishment, I just believe in personal revenge. Like, if you see someone doing that shit, like, community judgment, take him out, like
it's a horrible thing to say and to admit, but some people deserve to die. And
Barnes deserves to die.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna say that the other ones. I think Barnes for sure, black and white answer, deserves to die. Everybody else, there is a little bit of gray shade, just the slightest bit of gray. I can give a little bit of the benefit. Maybe not the ones that we see trying to gang rape the young girls. That honestly, I could take those or leave those. Leave those, honestly, not take them.
Yes,
not leave. Oh God, nervous laughter. Yeah. Anyways, the scene that I just mentioned happened right after this other scene. But I think that's Taylor actually steps up to them.
Yes. First, before
go on.
Tom Berenger kills it as all the acting in this movie is phenomenal.
My acting note was about Forrest Whitaker.
Oh yeah.
I just said Forrest Whitaker's great in this movie.
Oh, okay. I think everyone's good. Tom Berenger is so good at this, and Tom Berenger has in every movie he's in, he has resting day 4 cocoon face. I don't even know if he goes through the cocoon process, but his face always looks like it did. Yeah, and then after the fight, the Lieutenant Wolf steps in and tells them to capture all suspected Viet Cong, aka all the men, and torch the village. Taylor stops some of the troops from sexually assaulting young girls as they were in the act of it, but prevents it from going farther. Before the platoon evacuates the rest of the village as it burns. And
the scene where Taylor stops them is specifically where the soldiers refer to the Vietnamese as a racist slur. In the way of dehumanizing them. I mean, I know slurs are just meant to dehumanize in general, but very specifically, they just say, they're just this. Like, it's just so...
Also, when he stops them, one of them literally asks, "What are you, a homosexual?" And he's like, "No, they're fucking human beings, man. What is wrong with you?"
These girls look young.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Yeah. You only really see one of the girls but the other one is small and it's definitely implied to be young. That's why they probably don't show her, so they can... because they couldn't use an actual young woman for that scene, even if you don't see anything.
It looked like a mother and a daughter to me.
Yeah, it could have been that. Yeah, you don't see anything, which is good.
It's actually the first movie that we've watched with an assault scene that doesn't feel overly exploitative, because it's kind of just like, I think the most we see is the back of one of the guys. Kind of like squirming around for like a split second, and then it cuts to Taylor jumping in.
Literally as Taylor is shoving him off.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually really appreciated that because like a lot of even the violence in this movie, I mean, I know all of the violence in this movie, not even the violence, all of the violence in this movie is, I don't want to say tastefully done because it's still violence, but it's like surprisingly respectful for the time.
Yeah. It feels...
It felt like a genuine, like, hey, we're just trying to tell a story. We're not trying to...
Yeah, we're not titillating you
dramatize.
because you should not be titillated by this.
Right.
But we're showing it to you so you can feel it viscerally, but do not take enjoyment out of this. Oh, also, probably the most horrifying movie we've seen so far, yet the first one without a nipple in it. So, yay!
Yeah.
You take what you get, I guess.
Yeah, I think at some point I said in my notes, so this is by far the most well-made movie thus far, but also very hard to watch.
It's a difficult watch. I think it's well worth it if you're able to. We'll get into that later. But spoilers for Yeah, so Elias reports the incident to the captain of the entire company, who claims an investigation will happen back at base camp. But until then, Barnes and Elias needs to get along, because that works out well. The platoon, yes?
It's fine. It's the fact it's not fine. I side like that because this happens in the military all the time, within its ranks, outside of its ranks. Just work alongside this total piece of shit until you just get along with him.
Who literally threatened to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. It's wild. It's like I mean, I've struggled with a coworker, right? You know, just like not wanting to go into work just to see someone that I fucking argued with. If someone did what Barnes did, I'd be stabbing his neck while he slept. I'm sorry. If anything, Elias just has way too much restraint, which I think is kind of the point of his character.
Yes. The platonic ideal, again. And even then, which again, in the military things, it's not killing someone who you found as raping, which is not, maybe not the actual platonic ideal, but definitely what people who imagine it to be.
Yeah. It's the very due process and...
Which you do need.
Reform and, like, bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I do agree that it's neat. That's why I said earlier I don't believe in capital punishment. But also, in the situation of a war in this, where someone is in active danger and it feels like most community laws have already gone out the window, off that motherfucker. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Like, at what point do we reach apocalypse rules, you know?
We see that later on in the movie. So, the platoon continues on patrol and gets ambushed. The lieutenant calls in artillery fire directly on top of his unit because he's incompetent. Elias, Crawford, Raw, and Taylor go to intercept flanking enemies. The platoon gets ordered back, and Elias gets separated, so Barnes goes looking for him. He finds him and shoots him twice in the chest.
Barnes doesn't get separated, or Elias doesn't get separated.
He purposely
he specifically goes by himself because it's faster. And then when Taylor says, "Hey, where's Elias?" Barnes says, "We don't have time," and then Barnes goes back to find Elias and kill him. And there is this, I want to highlight this scene of also good acting from Charlie Sheen, I will admit, where he looks at Barnes in this, like, in that same, you know, rule of three freeze response way, where he knows something is up with what Barnes is saying. Like, he knows Barnes is lying, but everything in his military training is telling him to just listen to his sergeant. So you can see him hesitate. You can see... Yep, it's just hard to watch, and then he leaves, and Barnes goes off and kills Elias. Well, not right away.
This is more really good acting in of the Eyes, where Elias, like, again, being too by the book and trustworthy, just sees him and goes, "Oh, yay! My another member of my platoon found me," and then too late realizes that he's gonna kill me. And
right. And it also, I mean, I do think they gave Elias the most titillating send off.
The best, one of the best shots in cinema history. It's a very famous shot.
It is a very famous shot. I just found it. I'm like, okay, he's kind of like the super soldier or whatever.
Yes,
you keep saying the platonic ideal, and they kind of lean into that.
Yeah.
They give and I'm like, okay,
whether or not you agree.
It feels very badass, but I'm also like,
This is the most closest coming to kind of ungritty, kind of glamorizing something about war that this movie gets.
Absolutely, and I still enjoyed it.
It's an amazing shot, so it is,
and it's a good send off for his character. It feels earned because he fights through all these through all this enemy fire, and
you think the helicopter.
There's a chance. Yeah, there's a chance in your brain that maybe he'll make it, and then you see him make eye contact with Barnes, and he just waves at Barnes, and he looks so happy to see him, and then Barnes just raises his gun, and his smile fades. This is at least day 3 Cocoon.
Yes,
he's starting to look pretty dehydrated.
They waited. They waited for the death scene at the proper time.
And then
they go back to the helicopter.
Yeah.
Barnes tells Taylor that Elias was dead, that he found Elias dead, and then as the helicopter leaves, they see Elias running towards them, being chased by NVA before. And the helicopter turns around and takes out all the enemy combatants, but then Elias succumbs to his injuries in a very iconic scene where he drops to his knees and just puts his arms to the sky, face to the sky, as he slumps down dead.
Yeah, and
an amazing
Taylor
shot.
Taylor is immediately suspicious of Barnes.
I mean, he's right. He is,
yeah. And the way Barnes says, when Barnes comes back and says, when Barnes gives the news that Elias was dead, he was just reeking of suspicion because this guy has the character, not the actor. The character specifically has not a subtle bone in his body.
Back at base camp, Taylor tries to convince the surviving heads to kill Barnes, and there's only 5 of them left. This battle took out a lot of them. And then Barnes walks into their place, and this scene, Tom Berenger fucking kills this scene. It's such a good villain talking to the hero scene. This is set up in a story structure, but it still feels real, even though he's just swigging Jack Daniels, clearly self-medicating to cope with his own monsters. He knows he's a monster, and he's just trying everything he can to cope with it, and he copes with it by telling himself he's right about everything. And it's an amazing scene where he just delivers such a good monologue about how why do you guys get high? To escape reality? I am reality. And just such good villain talk, and just basically tells them, I'm here, no one will know. If you're gonna do it, fucking kill me. And just such a piece of shit. And as he goes,
a performance we haven't. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was just going to say, we're coming up on when a character that I didn't notice at the beginning of the movie started becoming more noticeable around this time was John C. McGinley's character.
I knew him right away because I love Dr. Cox. So
yeah. Well, I recognized his face. I just didn't notice the character much. And it was when he started begging to leave.
And I'm not
laughing at him.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, we're getting there because it was right around. Do they go out on one more mission before their last one?
No. They're coming up on the next mission. But I do want to. Yeah. Before we get into that.
Yeah.
When Barnes goes.
Well, I think because there's a little few scenes where he keeps talking about wanting to leave, and it just gets more and more frantic around this time, and then we'll get there.
When Barnes goes to leave after his great villain speech. Taylor goes to fight Barnes, and then Barnes pulls out a knife and is going to kill him, but then Ra is able to talk him down and tell him, "You really want to do 10 years for killing for killing a private?" And just kind of he cuts Taylor's cheek before leaving. And then this is where the platoon goes back to the valley near Cambodia to set up a defensive position. And this is where John C. McGinley really gets... He's more than just the Weasley thing. He's really starting to show everything starting to get to him.
Yeah.
And he does. Yeah. While setting up their positions, King gets his leave orders early because he had 10 days and a wake up before he got out of there. And then O'Neill asked Barnes for his R&R request because he has a bad feeling about that night. And this was the moment where he's just like, "Bob,
please."
Yeah. He's
kind of portrayed as like a coward for trying to leave, but also like I feel for him.
No,
I'm like,
he's a coward for everything else he did. He's a coward for not stopping Bunny from killing the one-legged dude because he's the sergeant. He could have ordered him, and he was trying to, but he knew he had no control over him. So he was like, when he's not around,
he's
Barnes, he has no actual say against people with any sort of backbone.
Right. And
like a true
there's
bully.
This, and there's, I don't know, he just does that blank, I don't want to call it puppy dog face, but like, "Oh my God, help me" face.
Yeah, that weaselly, just
pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Pathetic. I'm sure I've mentioned this. I'm a professional wrestling fan, and one of my favorite professional wrestling characters is the weasel shitheel, who just has to just so weaselly and gets behind all of these like maneuvers to always quite win, but it's always like in such a cheap thing. It's some of my favorite heel work is that type of heel. So that's why I noticed this character right away, because I'm like, this is one of my favorite like villain archetypes in wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's the type that, like, I don't know, I was both rooting for him to go home because I felt for him, but then also, like, seeing him be a piece of shit also was...
And he does, life does not treat him well at the end of this.
No, it doesn't.
So the NVA ambushes the platoon, and all hell breaks loose. They break through the command post. The majority of the platoon is wiped out. I'm definitely gonna cut through because it's just war action for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So not much to talk about other than the details. Yeah, the majority of the platoon is just wiped out. Anyone that's left is basically
some decent practical effects.
Oh yeah, and real visceral and like good. Yeah, it's a well shot movie. In the chaos, O'Neill hides from the NVA behind dead bodies. This is the part where he looks like a coward, but also you do what you do. Barnes and Taylor like are just kind of fighting through the trees, and they find each other. And Barnes immediately goes after Taylor and tries to kill him. The captain calls it an airstrike to wipe everyone out because they've lost the command, so they're just doing a full-on airstrike. The strike hits as Barnes is about to kill Taylor, and then we kind of cut to the next morning. The survivors survey the scene. O'Neill is fine. Francis, one of the only like surviving members of the heads left, stabs himself in the leg to get him a second wounded in action thing so he can go the fuck home. Which that was really good. Like when you first because you see him stabbing himself in the leg, he's like, "Why is he doing that?" And then later on, you see him talking to Taylor. It's like, "Hey, we both got 2 injuries. We're going home." And it's like, "Oh, good job. That was smart." Like, get the.
Oh no, I knew immediately what he was doing. I was just like, "Yeah, he's definitely trying to go home."
The first time I watched it, I didn't know. I knew it this time the very first time I watched this, I was a little like, "Huh, okay." Yeah. The next morning, Taylor finds Barnes crawling away from a mass of bodies. In a very good scene, Barnes basically tells Taylor to kill him, and it's a one shot on Barnes kind of doing the delivery, and instead of cutting back to see Taylor do it, you just see Barnes get shot.
Yeah, it was like you expect there to be some build up to like maybe Taylor hesitates before killing him and thinks, "Oh, you know, what would Elias do?" Nope, just immediate. It's like, kill me, clunk.
Yeah, just kill me. Okay. And it's cathartic. It's
and
very
it's
good.
so cathartic. When that happens, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
that's
this is the breaking point you were talking about earlier.
Line, yeah, this was the line. This was the line where I wrote, "Listen, I don't believe in capital punishment, but I do believe in personal revenge, and fuck that guy."
Yep.
Real quick,
Yes.
the fact that he shoots Barnes so quickly goes to show that he's not freezing anymore.
Yeah,
He's not
you're right.
hesitating anymore. Yeah, he doesn't even think about it. He doesn't stop. He just goes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
No.
Now we can go on.
Yeah, that's a good. I wasn't even thinking about that. I like what I notice arcs, but this movie I was just watching it for what it was, and no, that's very good. Yeah. See, we can do real movie analysis here.
Yeah. Well, I'm always. Well, not always. I'm usually not as invested in the movies as I am in this one.
It's. Yeah.
I can do a good analysis when I'm invested in a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Same here. Yeah. Yeah. Taylor is found by the medic crew surveilling the thing, and it gets taken back to like the command post. And a part that I notice that was always real to watch of like, oh, there's just a bulldozer just bulldozing dead bodies into mass graves.
Yeah.
And that is just a fact of war. You gotta do something to it, and it's like, ugh. He gets.
There's too many bodies to deal with.
He gets treated for his injuries, and him and Francis are flown out of Vietnam. As O'Neill gets put in charge, the new sergeant in charge of the platoon, instead of leaving, he is stuck there even more.
Yep.
Which
and the look on his face is just pure defeat.
Yeah, it's that's also pretty cathartic. Of like, man, I don't hate you enough to wish this for you, but also you fucking deserve it.
Yeah. You don't deserve to leave, that's for sure.
Yes, that's absolutely true. So Taylor and Francis are flown out of Vietnam. The end.
Right. Obviously, I remember... I know a lot of references came from this movie. Obviously, there's the Good Morning Vietnam.
Well, that's from Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true, huh?
That's from the movie starring Robin Williams called Good Morning Vietnam. That's where that comes from.
Yeah. When did that movie come out?
Like 90, 91?
Well, I thought Robin Williams got that from this movie, though.
Maybe. I don't remember. I thought that was based on a true story, but okay.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I... Anyways. And then there, I really liked, I heard Jefferson Airplane in this movie. That was pretty cool. Speaking of music, I have one more factoid, I think. No, I have a couple, actually.
Go for it.
So, this movie was filmed in the Philippines, which the production was actually halted due to some civil unrest happening there between the dates of February 22nd and the 25th of 1986. After the nonviolent revolution, the country's corrupt ruler, Ferdinand Marcos, was forced out, rebuilding democracy in the Philippines. And allowing the shooting to resume. Shooting lasted 54 days and cost $6.5 million. And after 7 weeks in theaters, the film went from 219 theaters to 590 and ended up grossing a shit ton.
Oh yeah, this is this was the perfect time where, like, back when movies could get a slow roll going, where it started off on small theaters, yet people kept liking it so much that it eventually expanded and became a huge hit after weeks, which doesn't happen anymore.
It does. I've seen it happen recently.
I mean, rarely.
Not very rarely. Platoon was released in the United States on December 19th, 1986, and in the Philippines and the United Kingdom in March of 1987. Imagine being in 87 and you get hit with the double whammy in 1 year of Platoon and Full Metal Jacket.
There were a lot of good movies in 87. That movie is considered one of the greatest years, of like, especially like blockbuster film history.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, those are most of the factoids that I have about the movie itself.
I do have a couple of like
go
award stuff where both Tom Berenger and Willem Dafoe were nominated for Best Supporting Actor at the Oscars that year.
Mm-hmm.
Understandably. And they both lost to Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Yep. For Hannah and Her Sisters, a movie I've never seen.
Funny how that works.
I've heard
the movie that we're talking about, and I've heard about over and over again, but a movie I've never heard about is the one that won. The actor for a movie that I've never heard about is the one that won.
Yeah, it won. So for the Academy Awards, it won for Best Sound, Best Film Editing, Best Director, and Best Picture, and was nominated for Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and for 2 Best Supporting Actor roles. Which, honestly, both of them being nominated probably split them against each other.
Yeah.
Like, one of them probably could have won had one of them been nominated, but... And this was, Willem Dafoe's first Academy Award nomination.
Well deserved.
He has yet to win one. Hopefully that changes, but
there was that huge fucking meme about Leonardo DiCaprio never winning an Oscar before he won an Oscar.
Yeah, but he was trying to. Willem Dafoe just does anything.
Yeah, no, that's fair. But I feel like... I don't know. The Oscar's kind of an arbitrary fucking award system that's also steeped in racism and old, stupid values. So, moving on.
I understand the point of wanting, that stuff, but...
No, I think my point, another reason that I am glad we're doing this podcast, is I do think Willem Dafoe is pretty... Obviously, he's well known, but I think he's a little underrated. Because, I just don't think he gets as much recognition, nearly as much recognition as he deserves.
He has not won any, the only major award he's won is the Independent Spirit Award, and that's not that big of an award.
That's not at all. That's crazy to me, because, he's such a good actor.
Yeah, and he absolutely has done award-worthy performances, and it's just never been acknowledged as it should be. I mean, he gets nominated, which is more than some can say, so good on that, but still.
Yeah. This could be wrong, but I also heard that he lives pretty modestly and doesn't gives away most of his wealth because he just doesn't really need it anymore. He gave away his several other houses or whatever, and
exactly
stuff like that. Because it's something along the lines of he got everything he could ever want, so now he just kind of when he does make money, he gives it away mostly.
Yeah. Which is a good thing. Yeah, I wasn't trying to say he didn't do that, but it's just he still lives in a capitalist society to an extent.
Oh, absolutely. Similar to like Keanu Reeves and stuff.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves turned down the role of Taylor because it was too violent.
Interesting.
It would have been the guy who did John Wick thought this movie was too violent.
Maybe he, in character development, but
at the time, this was before Bill and Ted's. He wasn't really a name yet, so
yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Can you imagine if this was his first big movie?
That would have been
different.
I think it could have still worked.
Maybe. Can you imagine the person who starred in Platoon also starring in Bill and Ted just a few years later?
I mean, yes, I could, because shortly after this, Charlie Sheen was in Men at Work with his brother Emilio Estevez, and he was in a lot of dumb comedies after this, so,
That's true. Yeah, 2.5 Men.
Also, speaking of 2.5 Men, John Cryer auditioned to be the role of Bunny, too, before Kevin Dillon got it, which I'm glad John Cryer wasn't that role, because that would have ruined him for me as an actor.
Yeah.
I have no opinion on Kevin Dillon, so I'm totally okay viewing him as a piece of shit in this movie.
Yeah. I don't like John Cryer's face. Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
Hey, opinions. I really like him. I everything I've heard about him, he seems like a good guy. He's a very good actor.
That's why 2.5 Men was so hard for me to watch, because they were good actors. I just did not like either of their faces.
Completely fair. And
I did not like watching them.
Oh, and 2.5 Men.
And I'm sorry, if you look like them, I'm sure you're hot. You're lovely.
2.5.
I'm asexual. You don't need my opinion.
First off, have you seen John Cryer bald?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking at it right now.
Does that change your opinion on him?
No.
Okay. I don't know.
It looks better. It looks better.
Yeah, sometimes different looks.
The hairline makes his face look weird.
Yeah.
But I like him
I don't agree.
with the beard and bald more. I think it looks better.
He was that's how he looked like when he was Lex Luthor in Supergirl, and he was a great Lex Luthor. Also, 2.5 Men was a horribly sexist and misogynistic show.
Oh yeah.
So you shouldn't excuse John Cryer for doing that, but it was the 2000s and he getting his money, so it's like, still. But
I mean, and if we're going to talk about John Cryer, we should talk about Charlie Sheen.
Exactly. Yeah.
And why I don't like him. And I know we talked about this off podcast, but
you don't have to defend not liking him. It makes perfect sense to not like him.
Yeah, it does. I know, but I also just want to give away the other side that like he's somewhat trying to kind of atone, but I don't know the shit that he did. I'm totally just fuck that guy.
He is getting,
fuck Charlie Sheen.
Yes, he is getting his life back together. That doesn't mean you have to like him.
Yeah, and I think the normalcy of like the sexism and everything on 2.5 Men. Like, he's not going to notice that shit, even when he does turn his life around, you know?
I mean, I don't know if that's good. I'm going to blame him or just the society that we were in at the moment.
Yeah.
We were a very sexist society at that time.
Yeah, but there were less sexist
and,
shows.
We're fine now.
Like, I'm sorry, if you can go from playing, like, saying people are human beings, women are human beings, in Platoon to, I don't know, playing the weirdly creepy character in 2.5 Men.
It was very he was very sexualized as a character, and very much did not treat women as people as much as you would like to, as much as he probably should. It was very they were objects for him to make jokes at.
Yeah, exactly. They're people until you can just say whatever you want to them. Anyways.
Back to the actual show. Let's go to the next segment. Willem Dafoe or Willem Dafoe?
You know, I'm something of
William Dafoe.
myself.
I said Willem Dafoe earlier, and I want to defend that, just because, obviously, I mean, I don't think it needs defending. He's a good character. I think at the core, it was a good guy character, but I think a flawed character that under different circumstances I would have said Willem Dafoe, because I would have said he didn't take enough action against Barnes.
Yeah.
But given the context of the movie and everything that we've said here, Willem Dafoe,
exactly.
My metric for Willem Dafoe is if they were removed from this movie and just sitting in a bar, would I be able to have a conversation with them and leave my drink at that bar to go to the bathroom? And I feel like my drink would be safe and we'd have a decent conversation. And like we could smoke weed together, so that's Willem Dafoe, you know?
Exactly. It makes perfect sense to complain about him not doing enough. But just with how everything was at the time, I completely agree with you with your assessment entirely. Well, Defriend as well. He might be the only true Defriend in this movie.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. He's by far the best of everyone in this movie.
Maybe King.
Yeah, King was pretty good.
Also, Crawford, the surfer dude, was also cool. Yeah, so we've more or less mentioned this, but might as well make it official. Did we like this movie?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Whether or not it's your favorite, it's easily the best movie we've watched so far.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually my favorite so far, as much as I loved Roadhouse.
Put that on you.
Yeah. It's as much as I loved Roadhouse 66, I am a drama boy at heart. I love a good story. Like a good, well-told story, and this is that. So, yeah, it won't be my favorite throughout the whole podcast, but it's up there. I'm glad I watched it for this podcast and not before.
Yeah, if you asked me going in, would this instantly become my favorite movie we've watched so far, I would have said yes. But with everything that's happened, I think it might still be at number 2, and Streets of Fire might still be my number 1. But it's close. This is definitely a better made movie than Streets of Fire, but I can watch Streets of Fire a lot more than I can watch this.
Yeah. This one's definitely harder to watch.
This is the first time I've watched it in 20 years, and it's worth watching if you can get through it, but I completely understand not being able to, and it's not something you go back to very often, because some movies are great and you never need to see them ever again.
It's up there with it's a war movie, a gritty war movie. So it's kind of up there with
too. So.
Anti-war movie. It's kind of up there with Schindler's List and Sophie's Choice of movies that are really good but hard to watch.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan.
One of my other favorite war movies would be Platoon, and Big Red 1 is another really good one about World War II that does similar things about deals with the men in a combat thing and them going through, following them through the crazy thing that is war.
That is why I love Dunkirk so much.
Yeah, most people do.
I know you don't, but I love Dunkirk.
I am in the minority. I will fully admit to that. It just does not hit for me because Christopher Nolan is humorous and soulless, and it just felt very robotic.
I can't believe he's soulless. I can't believe that.
Yeah, great director though. Not gonna amazing visionary. Just find some humor. The way you feel about Dunkirk is kind of how I feel about The Dark Knight, where I'm like, yeah, objectively. Every time that I've sat, I'm going to get hate for this, I feel like. This is going to be the most controversial thing I've said on the fucking podcast so far, but every time I've tried to sit down and I've never sat and watched that movie from start to end. I've seen all of it in bits and pieces, but I've never sat through the whole movie. I just can't take, Christian Bale.
Can't take him seriously with the voice.
Yeah.
Where is she?
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. It just works for me because, of course, he's going to change his voice, and
it's the way he changed his voice.
Yes, you're completely right. He went full hog with it, and it's a decision that works with the movie, and I am okay with it. It worked a lot better in Batman Begins and was okay in The Dark Knight, but then he started talking way too much in The Dark Knight Returns with that voice.
Yeah.
That's when it really jumped the shark for me.
Anyways, I think that's the end of the podcast.
I think that's it. So join us.
Thanks for listening.
Join us next time where we talk about Dear America, Letters Home from Vietnam, which is a documentary using real letters and real archival footage of Vietnam.
Cool.
we're the next two movies are Vietnam War movies. So
yeah,
he went on a run. So we're following him.
And I wanted to say that I will be doing probably more research on the Vietnam War movie, the Vietnam War, and the movies, yeah. For the next few episodes. I just kind of want to spread out the research, but today was the general overview, just kind of like Platoon, small picture, or big picture, I guess. Big picture Vietnam War, small picture story, and then next time it'll be big picture story, small picture history.
Yeah. And also, there's not a lot of story. It's just gonna be different segments.
Well, that's what I mean by big picture story, where it's less centralized on one specific story,
Yes. Yep. Alrighty.
And
I believe
small details.
Last I knew, it's on YouTube, so try and find that on YouTube from HBO Films. Anyway, that'll be all for the episode. See you next time. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.
You've been listening to Willem the Filmography. Our theme song is Cherry Metal by Arthur Vink. You can find this podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, and most places you find podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe, and review anywhere you can. Follow us on social media at WillemDaFilms on Blue Sky and Willem.DaFilms on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And share our podcast with anyone you think might like it. If you would like to support monetarily, check out our Willem the Filmography Patreon and support there. Thanks for listening.
Thinking of the word, cut this out.
Bravo, sir. I've had about enough of your shit too, Billy.